Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's coverage of the Selby Endurance Sports Car Championship. We're coming to you live today from the Nurburgring, and as you can see folks, 1 minute and 31 seconds remaining of qualifying, and then we'll be going to the race start. As far as coverage goes today folks, we will be covering the first half hour of this start and a mid-race update, and then the last half hour of the race. The reason for that is there's only 14 cars out there, and I'm the only one in the combox, but gives us a good opportunity to do a bit of a test of some multi-streaming, and we'll go from there. So as we can see at the moment, Warren Pickering's out there. Craig Edwards is in provisional pole in Class A at the moment on 142.119, and then we have in second Warren Pickering with a 143.009. Currently sitting in third is Aaron Osborne, and then we have Phil Hobbs, and Trevor Forster is out there as well with the 144.225. In sixth, Ken Attard, and the last of Class A is Neil de Bruin. So qualifying has finished now, so they'll be queuing up to start this race, and then we'll take you through the grid very shortly. But looking at the race information today, we're coming from Nurburgring in Germany. It's an 8-hour timed race. Track length today 5.7 or 07 kilometres. It's partly cloudy out there, and it's 33 degrees Celsius on the track. See, now we're following Warren Pickering. The target time he wants is a 142.119. Currently he's at 108. We'll see if he can actually better that time. So right on board now with Warren. You can see him just coming up the back part of the circuit, 123. He's got about 20 seconds to go. If he's going to better this time, it's going to be fairly close, I think, if he doesn't back out of it through the S's into the pit. So he has backed out of it. So while we're waiting for them to queue up, let's take you through the grid, and you can see where your favourite driver will be starting today. Okay, looking at the grid, we've got Craig Edwards will be starting from pole position today for Fusion Sim Racing. In second, we've got Warren Pickering for Redback Racing Team Black. Aaron Osborne, TDR 137, will be starting out of third, with Phil Hobbs, Redback Racing Team Red, starting in fourth position. In fifth today, Trevor Forster for Team VPR, and the last of Class A is Ken Attard for Cohen Attard, sorry, Razorback Races 1. Looking at, not yet, Neil de Bruin, LMTI, the 129, is the last of Class A. Looking at Class B, we've got Justin Alderton starting from pole in that class for Arm Racing, followed by Matt Morris for Proforce Racing Ferrari. Out of 10th today, Brett Hender for Lone Wolf Sim Races 3, and then Tim Ballinger is in 11th for TDR 237. Michael Kaluga, he's going to start out of 12th today. Out of 13th, we have Stephen Carmichael for Extreme Racing. Ross Rizzo, he'll start out of 14th, and he's the first of Class C, the GT3s. Trent Thomas for Fusion Sim Racing, he will be starting out of 15th. 16th, we have Scott Stevens for Fusion Sim Racing. Blake Neck will start out as 17th today for Evolution Racing Team, and John Herbert out of 18th for Team John Herbert. And then we have Alan Shipway, and I think Frank may be also in the race control. So you can see them now queuing up, folks, for the start of this race. You can see Trent Thomas in, he will be starting in the GT3, and we have Matt Morris also starting. Craig Edwards today, he will take to the start in provisional pole, with Phil Hobbs in second position. So as I was saying earlier, folks, your commentary team today is me. So I hope you enjoy this coverage. As I said, for those just joining us, it's a 30-minute, we'll shorten telecast for the start. We'll come back, or I'll come back with a mid-race update, and then the last 30 minutes of this race will also be covered. So you can see Phil Hobbs in the car. He will be starting today, but we'll go up to Craig Edwards, Fusion Sim Racing in the 145. He will have control of this race, and then we'll be off racing here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix. We covered this, of course, last night as part of the GTE Asia Pacific race. If you didn't see that action, go and have a look on YouTube for the replay. So it's quite a good turnout for Class A. We have about 6 or 7 cars in there, and then another 5 in Class B for the Ferraris, and then we should have 2 or 3 GT3s out there. All Mercedes today, no Audis. Unfortunately, the Selby team could not make it because their drivers were busy. But as we can see now, we're underway here at Nurburgring, 8-hour enduro. Craig Edwards, he has the lead. We can see on the inside there TD Racing, and then one of the Redback Racing team cars goes very wide, with the other one slotting in behind him. So looking at your top 10 as we've started this race, folks. So Craig Edwards is leading, followed by Aaron Osborne in second. Warren Pickering, he started, he's in third. Phil Hobbs fourth. Trevor Forster sitting in fifth, with Ken Attard in sixth. Seventh is Nurburgring. Justin Alderton is eighth. Ninth, Matt Morris and Brett Hender. You can see the first of Class B now. That's Justin Alderton in the arm racing entry. He's followed by Matt Morris, and then we've got Brett Hender behind him, followed by Stephen Carmichael. Tim Bellinger's having a drive out there today. It's great to see him sporting the Ferrari colours and having a great time, I'm sure. And then the last of the Ferraris is Michael Kluger. Second last, Blake Neck is the last of the Ferraris, and he's driving for Evolution Racing Team. We have the first of the GT3s. Ross Rizzo is driving that, and he was the fastest in qualifying. And then we have Trent Thomas also out there. So we've only got 2 GT3s starting. So a little bit of a small field. I'd like to welcome to the Combox now Scott Nolan. Hi Scott, how are you going this morning, mate? May not be able to hear me, folks, but I'm sure once he's fixed his microphone, he'll be joining us up here in the Combox for the first half hour, and it'll be great to have someone up here to talk to, that's for sure. So coming back up the front, they're already starting to spread out. We've got Aaron Osborne, I guess the closest here at the moment is Warren Pickering's taken the lead. So we've lost our race leader, and just trying to work out what's happened to him.
Good morning, Bernie. Good morning, all.
Yeah, good morning, Scott. Welcome to the Combox, mate. We're doing a shortened telecast today of half an hour, so it'll be great to have you up here joining me for that time.
Yeah, not a drama. Good to be here. So, good start to this race already. As you can see, we're underway, and it's going to be an intriguing start. 14 cars, which is a little bit surprising. Just heard you speak about the Selby team not being able to make it today, so it's going to be a blow after they were on a roll from winning last time at Twingling. So, bit of a shame that they're not here today.
Yeah, it certainly is. And another big upset here at the moment is Craig Edwards. He was our pole sitter. He's actually had to bring that car into the pits, and he's sitting all the way back in 17th now and 13 seconds off the lead. So a lot of work to do for these guys. But, you know, we've only been racing for 4 minutes, so Warren Pickering's leading. Got Aaron Osborne at the moment looking for a pass on the inside coming into the hairpin, and it looks like is Warren going to fight him for it. He's trying to, but he's not going to be able to. Oh no, he's coming back in, and he takes that position back. So these guys are racing hard.
Yeah, they sure are. It's all about getting track position at the start and then trying to pull a gap here and maintaining that over the next 8 hours. But Craig Edwards there obviously had a drama at the start and had to bring that in. Not sure whether that was an infringement at the start or some contacts, but they're a very solid lineup there with Craig and Reece Gardner and a couple of other guys in their team, so I'm sure they'll try and work their way back up to the front.
Oh, for sure, they're extremely competitive, that team, and they'll definitely have the pace here today to do that. They set pole position, so we know that car's got a lot of speed.
Yeah, and they were also coming back off a second place in the last round, fighting it out. Actually, they win the last round. They did. They won the last round, fighting it out with the Redback crew. So we're looking to see that battle continue again today.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing we found last week, last round was a 10-hour. This is an 8-hour, but coming up to the last. After the last pit stops, these cars are virtually inseparable in Class A, and I think also Class C had a very close finish as well.
Yeah, and it just shows, endurance racing. You're definitely not out of it until sort of, the last hour, and that's where you need to set yourself up to be in a good position. So if you do strike some adversity at the start, you've got plenty of time to sort of try and get back at it and catch up. But as they say, buying that ticket to the last sort of hour is the key here. So I'm sure that Fusion Sim Racing will be trying to do that, and they'll be trying to get their way back up. But good to see a pretty clean start here at the moment with Warren, Aaron and Phil. They're all battling pretty hard.
Yeah, they're attacking this like a sprint race, but I guess, an 8-hour, it's getting, they know they've got 20% less than what they had last time, so that might get their blood up a little bit at the start. Yeah,
it could, and I suppose in today's climate, having an 8-hour is to try and accommodate people, and the organisers have done a pretty good job here of bringing in the new GTE cars if people want to run that, and also accommodating it. Obviously, it's a bit of an early start with like a 9 AM start on a Sunday, so 10:30 or 11 AM start now is probably a lot more comfortable for the drivers, and we're hoping to sort of again boost numbers before the end of the series.
Oh, definitely, and it's going in the right direction, that's for sure, because we've got a fantastic turnout of GTEs at the moment, and the first of the GTEs is Matt Morris. He's 0.7 of a second ahead of Brett Hender, but Brett Hender now, he's coming under attack from Blake next, so Evolution Racing Team, they've definitely got the pace earlier on here.
Yeah, and they're a stellar lineup, one of the premier Australian sim racing teams, and it doesn't surprise me to see Blake working hard on the back there of the Lone Wolf Sim Racers car. just the amount of resources ERT has to pull together to run all these different series is amazing. But they do a fantastic job, and everything they seem to run, they seem to be very competitive in. So, you know, full marks to, you know, Brenton O'Brien and his crew. They always do a stellar job.
Yeah, they certainly do, and we can just see there Craig Edwards is now starting to come through Class B. Just went past who we're driving with now, Blake Neck. Yeah, and he's gone through Brett Hender, and now he's up already, chasing down Brett now, I think.
Yeah, he's just coming past Matt Morris here, and he's doing a pretty good job. Got through very cleanly, as you see Blake up the inside of Brett there, going through the Mercedes ring there, and so he's now up to second in the GTE class.
Yeah, so he's really moving forward at a great rate of knots. He, of course, started, I think, last in class, because I don't think they actually put in a qualifying lap, so this must have been a last-minute entry to jump in.
Yep, so also looking forward to the ARM racing car, Justin Alderton. He's doing really well. I actually think he is the leader of the GTE class there, and he is the next car for Craig Edwards to try and get through. And these guys had a little bit of drama at Twin Ring in the forward, but it looks like they've got it all sorted now, and it was a good hit out for them there. So they're actually leading this class, and they're doing quite well here. They've pulled out a nice little gap over the Pro Force Racing Ferrari.
Yeah, they have, that's for sure. And yeah, my apologies, folks. It is actually ARM Racing leading. There's a 4.5 second gap between Justin and Matt Morris at the moment, so they've definitely cleared out. I guess the only disappointment we have today would be the GT3s, because I think we've only got 2 out there, and they're the 2 Mercedes.
Yeah, I can see 3 on my telemetry. You've got the Pro Force Racing Mercedes with Ross Rizzo at the wheel, followed by the Fusion Sim Racing 347 with Trent Thomas, and then the sister car, the 348 Fusion Sim Racing Mercedes with Edgar Jones behind the wheel there. So only 3, which is a little bit surprising. I can see that some of the guys have switched over to the GTE. I'm pretty sure the Lone Wolf Sim Racers 3 was a GT3 class, and also the Razorback Racers 2. So they've switched to the GTE class, and I suppose hopefully going to have a good run today.
Yeah, we can see already Trent Thomas is sporting a little bit of front end damage on his car. He's running second in class, and having a look at the gap, he's let's bring up the gap and have a look here. 6.3 seconds at the moment behind Ross Rizzo. So Pro Force Racing definitely have the pace out there today in Class C.
Yes, and we've just seen a change for position there. The Redback Racing Team cars have just switched, with Phil Hobbs moving through on Warren Pickering there for second position. So it was a good move there, just going into the final corner, and Phil's now going to try and chase down the Carnet TDR of Aaron Osborne.
Yeah, so a bit of a change there, and interesting, because I think Phil qualified third in that car, so they've definitely got the pace in race setup at the moment, and we can see Warren behind him, and then of course we've got Team VPR. Trevor Forster has started in that car, and he's actually gained a position since the start of this race.
Yeah, Trevor's up 1. A lot of them are up 1 just because of Craig. Craig at the moment showing down 5 positions on my telemetry, so he's down in 7th position at the moment, so down 6 positions, sorry. So he's down in 7th position, and catching him every single time. He set the fastest lap of the race of a 1:44.448, and that is massively quicker than the next best of Aaron Osborne with a 45.0. So Craig is got the injectors going at the moment, and trying to storm his way back up to this leading group.
Yeah, well, this car definitely has a pace, hasn't it? Because they qualified in pole. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they did have to make a pit stop, but they're recovering nicely. And if it's any consolation to them, pitting on lap 1, it still gives you a good 8 hours of time to recover, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does, and as we said, those guys are leading the way in the championship for Class A, and have sort of been the ones to beat. Redback racing team have definitely given them a run for their money at times. So, but these guys are the ones that we're looking, as the favourites for today's race.
Yeah, definitely, and we're on board at the moment with Craig Edwards as he comes flying past his sister car. I think that might have been the 348, and he's not wasting any time, and no doubt they're on the team radio to tell the sister car to move out of their way and let them through.
Yeah, that's right. So just a bit of a recap if for guys tuning in for the first time, the Selby Endurance Sportscar Championship. As you can see there, we've got our three classes: Class A, Class B with the GTEs, and Class C with the GT3s. And it's a very, very good championship. 8-hour races at the moment is what the organisers are doing, and endurance event. So great to get teams involved. I think it's minimum 2 drivers for this event, and get a bit of racing in, especially coming up to sort of the enduro season. We've obviously Spa 24 in a couple of weeks, and other events, Bathurst 12-hour later in the year as well. So definitely, I reckon, have a look in the forums and get amongst this series if you like what you see, because there are some very, very good drivers out here and some very quick drivers as well.
Yeah, there certainly are, and it's also a great opportunity for teams that have sponsors to showcase their sponsors, because of course today we're coming to you live on YouTube. It's actually simulcast on YouTube, Twitch and Facebook, so we're on all 3 services, and if we can get the numbers up, I'll also simulcast it on iRacing Live, so that'll be 4 channels that you'll be able to get your sponsors in front of.
Yeah, that's right, and it's obviously a free series, so no cost to enter or anything like that, and the organisers do a great job. A couple of gremlins at the start of the series, but they've worked through that, and these guys are doing a great job to run a pretty budget series. If you just see Steve Carmichael lose it going around one of the corners in the Extreme Racing 211, gathered it back up and kept it off the wall, and no harm done, no loss of position.
Yeah, we'll jump back and see if we can pick up that action for Extreme Racing 211. The other good thing about this series is the GTE field's very strong, so is the HPD, so the teams have a good choice as far as those 2 classes that we see now. Steve Carmichael just losing it, as you said, not a very big lose, but he gathered it up nicely and he continues on.
Yeah, and it is, and we've had a couple of additions, to this event. Obviously, Arm Racing have got a second car out there in the GTE with Frank Rosenbauer at the wheel, and Extreme Racing, who were running a Porsche early in the series, have come in with the Ferrari, as well as Proforce GTI have filled a GTE class, so, and TDR as well. So 3 or 4 cars there that here this event that probably weren't at the last event. So it's good to see, and it's good to see Tim getting to the back of a GTE. I know he sometimes gets thrown into his HPD, and I don't think he's a massive fan of driving the Class A cars. So I think the GT3s and the GTE suit him much better.
Yeah, I think that's more his style of driving, and he's having a good run out there today. He was going to join me in the combox tonight, folks, but we've opted that he's better off jumping in the car and driving, so that's what he's going to do today. So it's great to see him out there having a good run.
Yeah, he's going to have a good run, and driving there with who's he with? He's with looks like he's going to be with Darren Connors. Don't know Darren and haven't heard much of him, so he might be a relatively newer guy, but it'll be good for them. It's always good fun driving with it in a team event. It's amazing sort of concept, having 2 or 3 guys obviously on different parts of Australia or the world and sharing the one race car. iRacing do a very good job of team racing, and it's going to be a good sort of example here today of these guys.
Yeah, it's fantastic, this team racing, and I know when they released it, everyone was ecstatic, and it's just been so good for the road racing community, especially for these enduros, because it pretty much opened it up, didn't it, to these endurance style racing, where before that the drivers were getting a bit tired probably after 4 hours or 5 hours of constant racing.
Yeah, it does, and you know, a lot of people might sit there and say, "Oh, well, you know, it's not a real race car or anything like that." But you know, it's all the same. You can get the level of immersion for exactly the same as driving a race car. You might not have the G-forces, but I'll tell you now from experience, the heart rate can still be ticking there, especially in the closing stages of a race, and you're trying to hold position or pass the position. You know, the heart rate's still ticking just like it would driving a real go-kart or a race car. So they do a very good job of it, and you know, 4 hours in one of these things, even an hour stint in one of these things is hard yards, trying to keep on the pace lap after lap. So the guys that sort of do double and triple stints and stuff, you know, amazing concentration, amazing you know, sense of getting the job done, because I know I struggle to do a double stint.
Yeah, I did too, and also with the equipment some of these guys are using now, you know, you can get the direct drive steering and the full-on racing pedals, which is pretty much like the real thing. And I know from a few guys racing those direct drives, when they hit a wall, they actually take the hands off the wheel, because they've been known to dislocate thumbs and that sort of thing. So that's starting to get up there as far as the equipment goes in realism, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right, and you know, you've also don't feel like it's got to be an expensive sport if you're looking to get into it as well. You can definitely do it on a budget. You know, there's a lot of guys that do run around with budget gear quite competitively, so you know, you definitely don't need all the gear, or you need, you know, decent computer and wheel and pedals, and you're good to go. And obviously the iRacing software. So definitely, if you're watching this thinking, how do I do it? You know, you can definitely do it. You know, around the $500 to $600 mark. And you know, there's other guys that are spending thousands of dollars. But if you just want to get out there and have a bit of fun, you know, definitely look into it.
Yeah, that's right, and really. You can really just get started if you go and get a Logitech wheel and pedal set, strap it to your desk, sit on your chair and have a run. And I know, as you said, a lot of guys are driving like that, single monitor, and it's a great way to start. I know some of even the people up in towards a pro end area, they're using Logitech more than happily, and ERT is a fantastic example of that. Sponsored by Logitech, they all use Logitech gear, and they're racing in the World Championships in the GT3 class, so don't think you've got to spend absolute thousands on it. But for the guys that want to get that full immersion experience, well, of course, they're going to spend thousands, because that's what they want to do. And it doesn't. I don't think it makes them any more competitive. It just gives them that more sense of immersion, realism, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it does. And as we've been talking, you know, the Fusion Sim Racing 145 has slowly been picking him off again. So he's now got past Neil de Bruin and also Cohen Attard in the for 6th and 7th. It's now up to 5th position, and he's about 20 seconds behind the VPR car at the moment. So he's on the charge, looking to track down Trevor Foster and sort of get back towards the pointy end of this field.
And if we look at the times he's set, his fastest time of 1:44.046. Aaron Osborne leading this race. His fastest time of 1:44.804. As now we see Craig come across the line again, and he's consistently in the 1:44s. He's once again 1:44.319 compared to 1:45.279. 28 seconds behind, but he's gaining about 9/10 of a second every lap. So within the next hour, I think he's going to be right up there.
Yeah, showing great consistency, and that just goes to show that, you know, they've got the car balance really working well in this HPD, and it is a really tough car to set up. Very aero dependent, so really loves the high speed stuff, but also it can be quite unstable in the rear. So getting a good setup for these cars is very tricky, especially like sector 1 through the the Mercedes ring there, where it's very slow and very lateral corners as well. It'd be quite hard to get a decent balance in this car, but Fusion guys have worked hard at it again and done a great job by the look of it.
Yeah, they always do a great job, don't they? And that's they've got probably 3 big strengths in this team. First one, of course, is their driver lineup. They're all extremely competitive, extremely seasoned and experienced racing drivers. Second one is they tend to be very good at setting up their car for these tracks, which makes a huge difference, believe me, on these long races. And then third, they're normally very, very good on their pit strategy. And put all those 3 together, folks, and that's a recipe for a winning team, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, they do a great job, and the guys running their team, Reese and Scott, obviously, have done a great job in recruiting, and I guess they work hard. You always see them there, sometimes hosting their own sort of practice sessions, so they definitely get together and sit down and nut out a setup to suit all their driver lineup.
Yeah, exactly right. And we just had a word from one of the viewers out there. That's Brendan Hack. He'll be driving this car later on. He was basically saying he uses an old Logitech DFP and a single 21-inch monitor, and he races quite happily and quite competitively with that, so it can definitely be done at a very reasonable price. So especially if you compare that to real racing, even go-karts, you'll spend thousands in go-karts, where you can get into this for, I reckon, probably around about what, $350, maybe $400 for brand new gear if you look on eBay. Of course, you can get second-hand gear to get started for a lot cheaper as well.
Yep, and I've been running iRacing for probably about 18 months now, and all my gear has been second-hand. I've just upgraded from Logitech to Fanatic, and again, second-hand, but it keeps me in good stead. And for me, it was all about just feeling a bit more immersion for me, and obviously I used to do go-karts and that back in the day, so this is sort of fueling my fire of racing for a quarter of the budget. I can take a nice $100,000 Ferrari around an awesome circuit like the Nurburgring, and if I put it into the wall, I can go and get a new one with no extra cost.
Yeah, pretty much just hit the escape key and you've got a new car. The other thing that's of course at a big advantage is you don't have to explain to the car owner why you've bent their expensive Ferrari, although in this day and age, if you're in a serious team, you may still have to go back and front the team manager or your co-drivers to explain what happened if it's in race conditions.
Yeah, and that's where all different levels of iRacing sort of happen. There are some absolutely competitive teams and professional teams out there that are set up like real race teams. You look at the overseas teams like Team Redline and Coanda Sim Sports, and also ERT and stuff like that. They are set up as real race teams, proper team managers, proper driver lineups. They've got guys that help do setups, spot, race engineer sort of on their big events. And so if that's the sort of goal you're getting, you want to feel that absolute professionalism, then definitely if you're quick enough and you can get spotted by these teams, they're always looking to recruit new drivers, and a lot of the big teams around Australia did a fair old recruiting process over the at the start of the year, so always looking for new quick drivers out there.
Yeah, they certainly are. And also the good thing about iRacing is there is a career path as far as licensing goes. For anyone that's new to iRacing, you start in rookies. Don't get turned off with rookies. It can be pretty nasty sometimes, but well, I wouldn't say nasty, but you're around a lot of inexperienced drivers. Once you get out of rookies, though, it improves. The other side of career paths, I guess, is You can form a team yourself with a bunch of mates if you want, go out and have some fun, race by yourself if you want. If you're looking at getting to the serious end, there's a lot of smaller teams you can join, get a feel for it, and then if you've got the talent, you'll be spotted, or you can apply to go to these big teams, even to the point, I guess, Scott, where you can get a pro licence and go racing on the world stage for real money.
Yeah, that's right, and there can be big money to be made, as well as the iRacing official championships. Do big money for the NASCAR championship and also the Blancpain championships as well. So there is definitely can be money to be made if you're good enough. And you look at the extremes as ERT and all that, and then you look at other driver lineups like the Razorback races. These guys do a fantastic job every round of the championship. Michael Kaluga and Eric, his brother, they are a brother lineup, just the two of them that run these events, and they're from America, so they're from the great state of United States. They're from Illinois, so these guys do a fantastic job coming to and running our Australian event every year. As Michael runs off there through the chicane, but these guys are American, and by the time this race finishes, it'll be pretty early in the morning for them. So these guys do a great job of supporting the Australian community.
Yeah, they certainly do. The other ones is, of course, the Schweck brothers, Colin Schweck, who's not here today, and his brother. They also love their racing. They actually started out just racing in a small team, the two of them, as we see now. Michael just in the replay running off, and now they're in the bigger teams.
Yeah, so I suppose as we've been sort of telling our viewers and anyone that's new or holding out, that's sort of the different levels you can go. You can get with a bunch of friends and run in this event, or try and go full professional. But looking here at the GTE class, Evolution Racing team, as we said, one of those professional teams now, is gotten themselves up to second and past Proforce Racing's Matt Morris, and they are looking to chase down Arm Racing and looking for the lead of that GTE class.
Yeah, they certainly are, and the leader of that Class 8th outright, first in class, of course. We can see one of the redback cars now coming up to pass him. If we have a look at the battle pack, and we can see now ERT, they're 4.2 seconds behind Arm Racing, and comparing their times, Justin Alderton's time last time 1:53.058, and Blake Neck a 1:52.220. Sorry, yeah. So they pulled in 5/10 of a second, but that's going to ebb and flow as the race goes, depending on who's passing them and where they get caught by these faster HPDs.
Yeah, that's right, and you can see Blake up 8 positions from his starting spot, so he's definitely been the mover in the race at the moment, and again, he does a great job. Be interesting to see who he partners with today. I know he's done a couple of events where he sort of ran a bit solo, so it's interesting to see if ERT have a second driver there to run with him today.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting, as you said, to see who does jump in with him. He's going to have someone, isn't he? Because it's a minimum 2 driver entry. It's just a matter of who it is. But he's got 9.4 seconds lead now over the third entry, and that's Matt Morris for Proforce Racing GTE, who has 7.3 seconds over Brett Hender for Lone Wolf Sim Racers 3. So looking back at Class C, Ross Rizzo has a big lead. 72 seconds is the lead from him back to Trent Thomas in the 347 for Fusion Sim Racing. And then we have, where it is, Edgar Johns. He's now a lap down in the 348 for Fusion Sim Racing.
Yeah, and it's surprising, I think, to me to see Trent obviously falling back that far, and I know they got damage on the front of that car, so he could be obviously lost a bit of aero and maybe a bit of straight line with that damage. So they'll be looking to get that fixed at the first pit stop, and I'm sure he is just sort of dealing with the lack of speed or something, and trying to get through to the end of that first stint so they don't have to make an unscheduled pit stop here. But yeah, quite surprising to see those boys 10 seconds down.
Yeah, and we're riding with Trent Thomas at the moment. He doesn't seem like he's having to work the wheel that hard, and I guess he could be losing a little bit of top end speed in where he is now and down the straight, but this is probably the biggest area where he could be affected, which is at the back parts and coming up to the S's now.
Yeah, and also the slow corners as well. You know, uses a good bit of mechanical grip, but also, you know, needing that with that front there, that front splitter to provide downforce to get the grip on the front wheels there. So with that damage, could have a bit of a light front end and a bit understeery. So as I said, you know, they'll be looking to get that fixed within the first pit stop.
Yeah, exactly right. And do you know how many fast repairs they've got for this race? I think the last one they had 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still at the 2. So yeah, hopefully no one needs any more than that. Hopefully it should be a pretty clean race, and the safety car should not have to come out and rack up some kilometres.
And those new to iRacing, basically, if this is the first time you've seen it, what we're talking about a fast repair is they can come in and basically they get a brand new car as soon as they pull in, do their stop, and they can do that twice. After that, they have to rely on the pit crew to repair the car, and that could be anywhere from 30 seconds. If they blow a motor though, it could take hours if it can be repaired at all, and we may see that effect later on, although in an 8-hour race I wouldn't expect the retirements to be that high, considering the amount of cars we've got out there. We've got 18 circulating and 2 fast repairs.
Yep, so we've just had the ERT car of Evolution Racing Team with Blake Neck come into pit lane. He did a 24-second pit stop, still in there at the moment getting service, so they're obviously doing an early pit stop. Not exactly sure why. It seems a bit early for the GTE classes to be pitting, but Blake's come in for service and still in the pits at the moment.
Yeah, and I can't even get him on my screen, so hopefully he hasn't left the server there. Yeah, because he's gone white, which generally means he's left the server, so hopefully that's not our first retirement.
Yeah, it looks like it could be, which is a bit of a shame because he had great speed there at the start and was chasing down the leader hard, so not exactly sure what's happened to Blake there.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, and I think almost think that they use it as a shakedown, but I'm not sure what they'd be having a shakedown for in that car, because they're not in the Asia Pacific GTE Championship, and I'm not sure if there's any high-profile series out there that are running this car at the moment.
The only thing I could think of is obviously the IMSA series is at this track, but most of the big races for that series has already happened this week, so yeah, quite interesting. Not sure, but as I said, they're one of the professional teams going around Australia, so they don't just sort of turn up and run laps for nothing, so there'd be an ulterior motive there somewhere, be up to the other teams to figure out what they're up to.
Yeah, we just had word from ERT. Basically, Blake Neck has let us know. He's basically said he was the only one driving that car today, and he just thought he'd go out, have a little bit of fun, start the race, and in between the official Porsche races which he's competing in.
There you have it.
Yeah, it was good for ERT to turn up, and I'll tell you what, I reckon they would have taken out that class today if they had it continued, but anyway, it was great to see him out there while it lasted, and we're 43 minutes of this race covered so far, folks. We're going to call this broadcast fairly soon, But of course we'll be back at 3 o'clock this afternoon for a half-hour update, and then of course coming back at 6 p.m. tonight to cover the last hour of this race.
Yeah, that's correct. So make sure you tune back in at those times. But you know, it's been a bit of a status quo here at the moment with you know, TDR Aaron Osborne still leading in the 137. Phil Hobbs, after getting past his teammate Warren Pickering in the early stages, is up 2 positions. He's now second and going along quite well. Warren Pickering is in third, Trevor Foster fourth, and Craig Edwards is your top 5 in Class A.
Yeah, that's right. And then we've got in 6th at the moment Ken Attard for Razorback Races 1. And I'll bring up the race results, folks, so you can actually see where your favourite driver's standing. Razorback Races 1 in 6th, 7th LMTI, the 129. First of Class B, that's Arm Racing. Leading that with Proforce Racing Ferrari in second in Class B. Lone Wolf Sim Races in third with Brett Hender behind the wheel. And then we have Arm Racing 2 with Frank Rosenbauer driving that. And rounding out your top 12 is Michael Kaluga for Razorback Races 2.
Yeah, and then you got the new addition to the GT class with TDR and Tim Ballinger there in 13th. And then we also look back. Steve Carmichael's there also in the Extreme Racing 211. He's back a couple of positions behind a couple of GT3 classes in 16th. And then moving on to your GT3 class, which is should be hotly contested today between these two. Ross Rizzo for Proforce GTI and Trent Thomas for Fusion Sim Racing. They are 1 and 2 respectively. And the final car of our GT3 class is the sister Fusion Sim Racing car, the 348 with Edgar Jones, and it is down in 17th position at the moment.
Yeah, and I think they're 1 lap down as well, aren't they? On the leaders of Class C, I think.
Yes, I think they are.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, thanks for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch or Facebook. First of our simulcasts here on RRTV, and we plan to give you many more. But before we go, one of the viewers has asked us who our predictions are for the win. It's pretty early at the moment, but my predictions at the moment, I'm going to go with the 137 TD Racing for first in Class A. Looking at Class B, well, I'm going to cheat and just say Arm Racing. They are leading quite a nice healthy margin at the moment, although it must be said this entry generally fades as the race goes on. Looking at Class C, I think you can't go past Ross Rizzo in the Proforce Racing GTI. So Scott, they're my predictions. Who do you think's going to win each class today?
Look, I'm going to be very bold and say Fusion Sim Racing for the overall win with Craig Edwards in the 145. Although had a rough start, I think they're going to work their way back up the field, and they just look the class of the field at the moment with their times. You know, Craig's just set another fastest lap now into the 43s with a 143.9. So he's my tip for the overall win. The GTE class with Class B, it's a tough one. I know, as you said, yes, Arm Racing, you know, they do fade a little bit towards, so I'm actually going to tip Proforce Racing with Matt Morris to come through there. It'd be interesting to see how much Justin gets in the car, but off recent events, I want to say they're going to fade and maybe come home second or third, and Matt Morris for the win there, and I think the battle's going to be between Proforce and Fusion in the GT3 class, and yeah, I agree with you there. I think Proforce are going to get the cake.
Yeah, and if they take out wins in Class B and C today, they'll definitely celebrate. This team's been known to celebrate with Stewies, and generally they're up on the RRTV Live Facebook page, and we'll see what they do today. But Craig Edwards, you're right, they are the fastest in Class A, but they're still 27.2 seconds down, so they've only closed in about 1 second. That could be because they're just biding their time and pacing themselves. But we'll see where they are in the mid-race update.
Yes, we sure will, Bernie.
So if you want to keep in touch with RRTV Live, folks, you can find us on facebook.com, RRTV Live, or you can also watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/RRTV Live, and keep in touch with us also on Twitter. So I generally tweet when we're live on there, so you can subscribe to us at twitter.com/RRTV Live. And of course we'll have a website up very shortly where you'll also be able to follow us there. So anyway, folks, thanks for joining myself and Scott Nolan for the start of this great race. Come back at 3 o'clock for a half-hour update, and then of course 6 o'clock tonight we'll be covering it to the end on RRTV Live. But until then, folks, I hope you have a great Sunday afternoon. Big thanks to Scott Nolan for jumping in with me. I really appreciate it, Scott, and hope you enjoyed your stint in here.
Yeah, no problem, Bernie. Thanks for having me back, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. So tune in at 3 p.m. for Bernie's update.
Yeah, definitely. But until then, folks, we'll see you soon.